All right, we're back again with Wrestlelamia. Okay, and they're going to talk about the 10 wrestlers that WWE instantly regretted firing. But then again, it's like, do they really regret it or do they not? But we'll find out and see. Y'all already subscribed to this channel, but I'm just going to put a screenshot here in case you haven't. And we're going to go ahead and get started and see what this 10 is.
10 wrestlers WWE instantly regretted firing. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Number 10, Daniel Bryan. The debut of the Nexus faction on WWE television was impactful, memorable, and borderline legendary. It was a TV-14 angle delivered in the world of PG, and unfortunately, this is where the problems began. Due to Daniel Bryan choking out Justin Roberts with his own tie, this wasn't seen in line with WWE's established PG guidelines, and it was reported that numerous political players and sponsors complained directly to WWE. WWE would reluctantly let Bryan go from his contract, and it was widely reported that this was something that they simply just didn't want to do. It was only fitting that when the backlash died down, WWE would bring Bryan back into the mix, and they didn't hesitate to do this within a few short months. Bryan would make his return at the 2010 SummerSlam pay-per-view in the main event of the show, and Bryan would go on to become one of the top names in the company, winning the world title on numerous occasions.
Yeah, I highly doubt they let him go for that. But however, he did say he want to retire by, coming back to WWE and, being in WrestleMania again. But however, the way things are looking now with WWE, do you really want to come back? I mean, the Bella Twins are saying they're coming back, but it's like, Nikki coming back was cool, but, still we haven't seen Brie. I don't know. Daniel, you can come back, but I don't think people going to remember the yes movement because, these kids don't remember everything. So, I don't know. We'll see. Hey, he said he want to retire, in WWE, so we'll see.
Number 9, Finlay. Now, it could often be the case that WWE rushes into firing a talent or a producer, and this was a case with Finlay. Finlay was the producer for a live event on the road to WrestleMania 27, and Finlay would order The Miz to interrupt the national anthem. Unfortunately for WWE and Finlay, members of the National Guard were in attendance and they were extremely offended. The blame fell on Finlay, who was punished in the most severe way possible as he was released from his WWE contract. The backlash to this internally in WWE was one of uproar, as Finlay was beloved within the locker room and even names such as Jim Ross would criticize the move publicly. It was almost instantaneously that WWE realized that they got it completely wrong and that Finlay shouldn't have been fired. Finlay would be brought back into the company the following year with open arms, and thankfully there was no bad blood on either side.
Damn, I don't even remember him getting fired. Shoot, I thought he retired, but dang, good to know. But, well, not good to know, but I'm just saying, I didn't know he got fired. Shoot. Hornswoggle haven't came back, but I don't know. What's he doing now? I don't know, so, shit. I miss Finlay, man. He used to be entertaining back in the day. No, but yeah, I didn't know.
Died. Number 8, Bronson Reed. One of Triple H's pet projects when he was running NXT was Bronson Reed. Reed would become NXT North American champion, and on paper, he had every tool it took to be a major player on the roster. Sadly, when Reed had his official main roster tryout, Vince McMahon hated his work. McMahon hated his work so much that Reed would be fired from the company. This must have enraged Triple H, as he had put so much effort into getting Reed over, and now it was all ruined. When Triple H received creative power on the main roster, one of his first official acts was to bring Reed back. Reed has been outstanding since his return, and he has truly stepped up and delivered at the level that Triple H believed he could all those years ago.
Yep. Now all we need him to do is just recover so he can come back and tsunami some more people.
Number 7, Toni Storm. Toni Storm has emerged as one of the top stars in AEW, and her character work received critical acclaim and appreciation, even from AEW's biggest haters. Storm was under a WWE contract for several years, yet all WWE did with her on the main roster was book her in horrendously delivered comedic segments, which in turn made her look like an utter fool. When Storm asked for her release, it was immediately granted by WWE. This was a case of WWE not knowing what they had until it was gone. Storm would reflect on why she exited the company during an appearance on Oral Sessions, and Storm didn't exactly hold back. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. A lot of people don't enjoy it at all. For some people, it just works out, and for others, it just makes them miserable. And I guess I just fell into that category. I guess it just wasn't for me at that point. Let's face it, they just fire people left, right, and center out of the blue. I could be fired next week, and then it's like, what's the point? It just got very pointless, to be honest. It's been hard to convey that, especially to fans, especially to the people that just aren't in the business, and they'll never understand. I must sound ridiculous to those people, but it's the reality of what it's actually like. WWE, without a doubt, would re-sign Storm within seconds if she decided to leave AEW, and Storm is a great example of why sometimes it's always a good idea to bet on yourself.
Yeah, that shit with Charlotte Flair was corny as hell. I ain't gonna lie, I felt very bad for her when she went through that with Charlotte Flair, but I am glad that she left and making things poppin' with AEW. So hopefully, she'll retain her title against Megan Bayne and keep the company going. But even without the title, she'll still keep the company going. And you know, I am glad that she's killing it at AEW and keeping the company relevant. So hey. Shout out to Tony, man, for turning her to a star, you know? Yeah, nah, she good. She good. She don't need to go back to WWE. It's all good. Even if Vince was still there, she shouldn't even be going back anyway. AEW is turning her to a star, and the fact she's in the movie Queen of Ring, that already lets you know right there. Shoot, the fact she's in a movie and still killing and still treating the AEW ring as a movie theater and still making it look like she's auditioning a role where you already know she's going to kill it. That's all the proof you need right there that she's a superstar. And she don't need WWE at all, period.
Number 6, Mickie James. WWE may not have outright rejected firing Mickie James in 2021, but the way they handled her release would have certainly led to a lot of regret and anger within the company. James was released from WWE due to budget cuts relating to the COVID-19 pandemic, and James took to social media to share that WWE had sent her belongings back to her in a trash bag. Yeah, that's right, a trash bag. It showed the world that WWE really didn't care about their talent, and the incident received mainstream news coverage. It was a truly horrendous look for WWE, and they knew they'd just made a huge mistake. But WWE did take immediate action, and this is what James had to say during an interview with Ariel Helwani. Personally, I wasn't as offended as the rest of the world was offended, just because I feel like it does suck and it's very, the symbology of it all. You know, even when you think about it professionally or however you feel personally, how you've been professionally booked or any of those things, all of those things aside, like that bit alone is kind of like already on a low. James will go on to state that she received calls from Stephanie McMahon, Triple H and Vince McMahon, and the WWE were quick to confirm that the name responsible, reportedly being Mark Carrano, was no longer employed with the company.
So bro was responsible for the trash bag. Man, what a cornball. But it ain't over for Mickie James. I mean, she's mentoring some new wrestlers over at, what's it called, LFG. So, you know, getting ready for NXT. So I think, you know, she's still employed, you know, she's a coach now. So just like The Undertaker and Bubba Ray and, you know what I mean, and Mick Foley. So she good. She good. So shout out to her.
Number 5, Aleister Black. A former NXT champion, Aleister Black, was yet another name released from WWE due to the COVID-19 budget cuts. This release was baffling, as Black had just returned to WWE programming with a new character and they were already giving up on him. A matter of hours after Black's release was made official, it was reported that numerous companies, including AEW, wanted to sign him up, and overnight, Black became the biggest free agent in all of wrestling. Triple H must have been devastated, as Black was one of his top stars in NXT, and now Vince McMahon was releasing him without a care in the world. It was reported for years after the initial release that WWE would want Black back if he ever left AEW, and fast forward to 2025, this is now on the horizon as Black is set to make his grand return to WWE program.
Well, the good thing is he's back, so that's a good thing. So we'll get to see him either next week or the week after that. So let's leave that alone, all right? But let's get to the next sport.
Number 4, AJ Styles. AJ Styles was working in the final years of WCW without an official contract, and when WWE came calling, they knew AJ was immensely talented, but all they offered him was a developmental deal with OVW. WWE had the chance to sign one of the biggest names of the 21st century to the main roster, yet they cut ties with him completely. AJ would eventually sign for TNA, where he would become their poster boy for the next decade, and AJ would cement himself as one of the biggest names in the world that wasn't signed to WWE. When he would finally put pen to paper for WWE at long last in 2016, the buzz was palpable. Now, there was initial concern at first that they wouldn't know how to use AJ. Whilst it was a rocky road at first, AJ has had a Hall of Fame career in WWE.
I mean, I ain't got much to say about AJ. I mean, the fact that he's even back from his injury, I mean, that's even better. So, honestly, he good. So, let's get back to the video.
Alone. Number 3, Bray Wyatt. One of the COVID-19 related releases that received significant criticism from fans was that of Bray Wyatt. Wyatt was reportedly let go due to his high salary, as well as WWE being in a creative rut with him. It was said that Vince McMahon often had issues with the former WWE champion, so it ultimately was a no-brainer for WWE to let him go. But Wyatt was one of the most creative minds WWE had ever had under contract, and it was backwards at how they were just willing to let him go without a second thought. The fan backlash was rampant and fans were actively campaigning for WWE to bring him back, and this must have been the exact moment when WWE had just realized how popular Wyatt was with the audience. McMahon, to the surprise of many, wouldn't opt to bring Wyatt back. Instead, it was Triple H, who was a long-term supporter of Wyatt, and he insisted that Wyatt return to the company in 2022.
Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
Number 2, Matt Hardy. In 2005, Matt Hardy's world would be shattered when he found out that Lita was having a real-life affair with fellow colleague Edge. Hardy, upon finding out this information, would take to the internet to share his side of the story, and in typical WWE fashion, they found this to be unprofessional, and they released him from his WWE contract. To say this angered WWE fans would be an understatement, especially because Lita and Edge were receiving pushes on TV, yet the man that was wronged was now unemployed. Firing Hardy instead of offering him support was a terrible PR move for WWE, and media outlets across the world would pick up the story. Hardy was supported both online as well as at live shows, as chants in support of him were delivered on Raw, SmackDown and live events. The reaction was so severe that WWE were forced to bring him back, and this rehiring should have come with a formal apology and an acknowledgement of WWE's mistake.
Now, see, everybody talking about the Liv and Dom story when you know it's not real, but this right here was some real shit. All right, Matt and Edge and Lita went through some real shit, while Liv and Dom never went through this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Edge and Lita was really fucking, while Liv and Dom wasn't doing absolutely nothing but going home. While Dom was going home to his wife, Liv was going home to her animals. You know what I mean? Versus with Rhea, she's going back home to her husband. So this Liv and Dom and Rhea shit is absolutely fiction. Let me repeat. The Liv and Dom and Rhea shit is fiction, while the Matt and Edge and Lita was nonfiction. That's the difference. Okay? That's the difference. The Liv and Dom and Rhea shit is faker than you know what. Versus with Matt and Edge and Lita was some real actual drama and real actual trauma and real actual affair. So you can't say nothing to these three because they went through it. Versus with Liv and Dom and Rhea, they never went through it. And that's a fact. So all y'all Liv and Dom fans can eat a dick. Because when it comes to this real actual affair, this real actual love affair, Matt and Edge and Lita went through that shit. Versus with Liv and Dom and Rhea, they never went through that shit. Never. Okay? So do your homework on Matt and Edge and Lita. Because only the people that have lived it know it. Okay? And I did my homework on it, so you can't tell me nothing about Edge and Lita and Matt Hardy. So I've been knowing about this way before I even got on YouTube, way before I even went to college. So if you don't know nothing about the Matt and Edge and Lita story, you need to do your homework. Okay? That's all I got to say. But let's get back to the video.
And number 1, CM Punk. There was a ton of discourse in late 2014 where the WWE would sink as low to fire a man on his wedding day, and the majority of fans were under the impression that WWE without a doubt acted with malice when it came to the firing of CM Punk. Punk walked out of WWE following the 2014 Royal Rumble, but he wasn't released from his contract until the end of the calendar year. WWE, for whatever reason, waited to fire him on his actual wedding day, and with Punk still having friends in WWE and his wedding date being common knowledge, all the signs pointed to this being deliberate. What WWE wouldn't have expected was for Punk to tell the world what they had done, and this would have been a moment that WWE knew they had messed up on. This story was so newsworthy at the time that McMahon directly addressed it on a live podcast, and McMahon would apologize to Punk and claim that this was not deliberate, which fans had a tough time in believing.
Alright, that's enough. That's the end of the video. So, y'all can comment down below. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think WWE regret WWE regret these, releasing these wrestlers? Or do you think that they have no regrets and this is just all, a story to tell? Y'all comment down below. Let me know. But the good thing is, you got Punk, you got Black, you got Bronson Reed, you got AJ Styles, Matt Hardy. Well, Matt Hardy's in TNA, so it's no big deal, right? But also, they're as for everyone else. I mean, look, you got Mickey James as a coach now for, NXT the beginners for NXT. You feel what I'm saying? But still, it's like, everybody else are where they at, and it's meant to be. You know what I'm saying? And the only person that's not here is Bray Wyatt. But like I said, everyone else, they're good. They're good. So y'all comment down below. Let me know what y'all think about this video. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll catch y'all in the next video. All right? I'm out.